Okay, today we're going to be having a look at Cut-throat Caverns, like I promised. Without teamwork you'll never survive, without betrayal you will never win. And that is very, very true. And this is by Smirk Dagger, which is a fantastic company that make really good card games. So let's have a look inside. Here we've got the creature's life tracker. This is recording all the monsters' different health points. This is the number of encounters that's being played, so you can see which one you're on, how close you are to getting out of the dungeon, which is usually at level 9. Awarded prestige, but we'll get into that later. There you go. Nice stocky card there. We have this, which is the rulebook, which is a really good rulebook actually. There's a few things which you'll have to go onto the internet to have a look at, but most of the things you'll need to know are in here. And it's really easy to read as well. So, here are the heroes. We've got Nyx, the rogue, Talon, well, the fighter, I suppose, Nephidira, the wizard, Edlen, Bloodthorn, we'll just call him Bloodthorn, who is the elf ranger, Vash the red, who's another fighter, and Hammerfist, Orn Hammerfist, who, as you can probably imagine, I play as because he's a dwarf. Now, there is absolutely no difference in any of these heroes whatsoever. The only difference come in the expansions for this game, but literally there is no difference in these heroes, apart from, you know, your personal preference in whether or not you'd be a human or a dwarf or whatever. So. These are the monster cards, of which there are quite a lot. You will have some which are like this, which are normal monsters, and then you will have different ones like this, which is like a minion in D&D, and you'll have to fight all the different minions before you fight the sort of main wolf and such like that. Let's see if we can find some of the other good ones. Got Battle Troll there, Necromancer. Here we go, the Riddle Room. This is what's called a non-combat encounter, and it'll basically mean that there'll be no combat in that room. You'll probably get hurt due to the different things that happen to you, but it's a little bit of a nice distraction from just the slaughtering and the killing, and a break from the backstabbing as well. What else have we got here? Hate, Gas Bag. The one who kills it gets damaged by that. There's another non-combat encounter, the Trap Room. As you can imagine, the traps will go off and kick your ass. What else have we got in here? There's some nice, very nice ones. Oh, Archmages are lovely. You have to keep doing successfully better damage on them to take them out. Got monsters like the Necromancer, the Blood Mage, who's got very little health, but if she survives, you get to add another monster to the deck. So the more times you're dicking yourself over, the more monsters you're going to have to fight, and the less likely you are to get out of the dungeon. So we got Shift, good one. The Ripper, first sort of basic monster you should fight in at the beginning of starting to learn this. Pretty standard monster, not hard to beat. Clockwork Golem, Fear, Boogans, they're one with the boss. Pretty nasty if you don't get rid of them, and an opportune monster to dick over your friends with. Spite there, and the Troll. So we'll use the Troll to demonstrate some of the things. At the bottom here we've got the life points for the amount of players that are playing. Damage is usually recorded here, or you'll see underneath here there'll be damage for whoever the initiative is. Here we've got the type of monster it is. Some lovely artwork, which is really nice actually on most of the cards, and this is its prestige points. Now, only the person that lands the killing blow gets the prestige, but you'll have to all work together and do damage to the monster to actually kill them, apart from on rare circumstances. So, and the object of the game is to end the game with the most prestige and get out alive. So you're going to have to be trying to get the last killing blow without giving it to somebody else, but also trying to work together to try and kill the monsters so you all survive. So it's a bit of a backstabby game. If anybody has ever played Munchkin, it's a lot like Munchkin, but on a grander scale. And obviously there is elimination in this, whereas there isn't elimination in Munchkin, which is a big thing, really. So we'll put those to the side. You get a bunch of beads, which I guarantee you will need to put blue tack onto them to keep the life points and stuff. I've added a few more in here of my random bead collection, but you mostly come with just these green ones. They're pretty nice. Come in a little baggie, which is always handy. Here we can see some of the prestige tokens for the added prestige. You've got a 3 there, a 1, a 5 for those astronomical occasions when you haven't killed something. What else have we got here? We've got a wolf token, so it shows on this side that it has 40 life points, does 5 damage, worth 1 prestige. Then here we've got a Boogan, he's got 30 life points, does 5 damage, but he offers no prestige. So it's all about the boss when you fight the Boogans. But the most important part are the cards. Now these are the initiative cards, they'll be dealt out every turn. And they're probably the most used cards you will ever see in this game. I mean, they're already pretty battered, and they will become your best friend and your worst enemy. But here's the meat of the issue: the actual action cards themselves. Now, thankfully, we've picked a couple of cards that are, well, we've got a couple of cards that are really good for showing off things. Right. In the big, red is the amount of damage the attack normally does, right, and at the top as well. To the side, however, you've got the different values of like lower and then higher as well. In this case, these higher ones are also special attack powers, okay? So say I was controlling Orn, and I found this card in my hand, instead of doing 20 as a normal attack, I'd be doing 40. Which is a big thing. Which is the only thing that really sets the characters apart once you get these power cards. I mean, the actual text means nothing on them, to be honest. But basically, you'll be setting one of these down, face down in front of you, when you at the start of a game, and you're trying to gauge, according to your initiative, whether or not you're going to be able to land the killing blow or not. So you flip that over and go, aha, I've done 25 damage to the monster, but I was second player, so I've taken it down to like 10 health points, so the third player is going to kill it. Ah, damn it. And so, obviously, the other player would get the reward for that. But you can stop that with cards like this. And two perfect cards here. These cards are reactionary cards, and they'll be played against opponents as they play attacks. Now, say that player 3 was going to get the kill, and I really wanted it next turn, hoping I'd get a high initiative, I could play a critical miss card on him. And that means, obviously, as it says here, the player misses and they take 10 damage. Right? You can counter these cards with cards like this, which is called Not On My Watch. This cancels cards like this. So you get a real back and forth. Lots of cards going down. No, I don't want to take it. I don't want to die. Oh my god, oh my god. And basically, it makes it a whole of a lot of fun. These are the other kind of cards you get in the game. That are different from attack ones, and they're item cards. Now in this case this is a potion of healing. You can get things like amulets which give you more cards, but most of them are going to be potions of healing, strength, speed and stuff like that. In this case it's a potion of healing. Now you can use this on yourself, as it says here, to gain 25 life points, but as the object of the game is to get the most prestige, you can always heal a willing member of your party for 3 points of prestige, as it says there at the top. But the key there is willing. Willing party member. They don't want you to get that prestige, but if you can get them into a circumstance where they don't want to die, but they need that healing, you can get yourself 3 nifty prestige there. So you've also got cards like this, Edge Out, which means that you can stop someone from attacking that round after they've set down their card, so their card is wasted. Great to take out that person who's trying to get the killing blow. You've also got things like this, which are called rider cards. In this case, this one adds plus 30 to the next attack. You've got some cards have specific text on, like this one could do extra damage to undead, fiend and demon type enemies. The critical hit card. 100 damage. Imagine that magnified and stuff like that. Stab and grab. So this allows you to steal one of those potions that I showed you from another player. You've got these ones that are like faint, so you do no damage, which is quite important on some enemies if you're trying to get the kill later on. There's another cure wounds potion there. A slip behind does ×2 damage on your next attack, so imagine that on the critical hit. These are some of the most important cards. You can either play it as tougher than he looks, which halves the amount of damage an attack does, or not so tough, which means that the attack has gone up to the next higher. So imagine you've got that critical hit with a ×2 damage and the not so tough. So you'd be doing 200, 300 damage. What else have we got in here? It's interesting. Let's have a look. Ah, here we go. There's some of the other extra hero cards. So we've got to see that's one for the Bloodthorn. That's one for Basher. That's an interesting one. Human Shield. If a monster would damage you, you can direct the damage to someone on your left or right. And they don't have to be willing either. Potion of Iron Skin means you're invulnerable to damage for an encounter. Potions of Strength. Potions of Strength and Speed work a little bit differently. They're corked at the start, but once you use them, you've got 1 round, 2 rounds of the Potion of Strength, so you've got to gauge when you can use the potions. Also, you have to decide whether or not you're going to use potions at the very beginning of an encounter against a monster. You can't do it midway through, so you really have to plan to see. But after a couple of games, you'll really understand what's the best potion to use at a given time. But yeah, that is Cut-throat Caverns. A really, really good game. Backstabbing beyond compare. As long as you've got a good group of people that don't mind sort of like light-hearted death, you'll be alright. It's definitely got a very Munchkin-y mentality to it. You also don't want to go really far ahead at the start, because then everyone will start picking on you and taking your health away from you. So you've got to play a bit of a waiting game. But yeah, I really enjoy this game. We've played it a lot of times. The artwork's pretty superb on all these guys. Yeah, there you go. There are obviously some expansions available for this. I think there's 2, maybe 3 expansions available from Smirk Dagger. But yeah, as a box game just by itself, it's about 20-25 quid in English money there. And I think you should go and pick it up if you like fantasy at all, really. And it's a great way to end off an evening as well. So there you go. That is Cut-throat Caverns by Smirk Dagger. And remember, because of dragons.